What are you doing?
What are you doing? What does that mean? What am I doing?
Midday podcast?
Well, here's your considerate friend here is going, well,
Okay.
he's doing inventory, so he's up in the middle of the night. He probably wants to sleep in the afternoon. If he's home, let's just bang it out now. Also, I am going to see a movie later today, so around I'm going to see it at 3:00. So I figure from 3 to 5, I'm busy, and that's probably the window you were expecting to do a podcast in. So I figured I'd nip it in the bud and make sure that we weren't doing it like at some fucked up hour like we sometimes do.
Well, like I was gonna say, like usual.
I mean, whatever. But usually that's not my fault as usual. Okay, don't throw that like, don't come at me with a bass in your voice when you say that because it's on you usually.
Well, I do have a couple questions.
Oh,
here
we go. I'm sure you do.
Because I know this is you always tell me, well, it's your podcast, pal. But today I'm going to start off by asking you questions.
Go for it.
Because I do have some questions. So
yeah.
My first question is, we talked about this on the extra. I like to call it the extra podcast now that I still haven't signed the contract for, but. How was dinner with Billy and Huss and Earl?
Did you ever sign a contract for the ones you do?
No. I'm working on a handshake here.
I owe you the hot dog.
A handshake contract.
I still owe you the hot dog.
Right. I didn't even get a hot dog.
Well, there was no Billy.
No, but what?
We're
2 minutes in.
Yeah. Something happened. I don't know what happened. First of all, Huss either oversold the fact that Billy was coming, or mentioned it in a way that made it sound like he was coming, but was only like really invited. You know what I mean? And Marco made a good point that if it was in an air conditioned environment, he probably wasn't coming. He likes to eat at La Tub and these places that are like basically just outdoor. So first of all, there's no Billy, which was a blessing because I knew that I wasn't making it out unscathed in some way, shape, or form. Although I had a fantastic rib, I was going to do the Billy if he was there.
Right.
I was going to say, hey, let's cut a promo for your match with Anthony, and he loves to shit on you, so he would have jumped right all over that. And I was going to do it like both of us selfie mode, and I was going to introduce Billy and go, Billy's got this match with Anthony on November 7th, et cetera, et cetera. Billy's a really tough guy. He was a professional wrestler. And then I would literally start walking away from him, as I said, and the face of erectile dysfunction. And then see how much like shit talking I could do on Billy before he caught up to me and choked me out. Which would have, I don't.
Yeah, that go. You know what? You may have escaped one there, pal.
I think I did, but I had that planned in my back pocket. So, but that didn't happen. So, I went to Benihana's for my roommate's birthday, which was like, I'm like, first of all, let's be honest. The place is a total work. Like the whole gimmick is such a work. It's like overpriced drinks, and the food. Like, listen, I ordered like it's relative. Like, if you think about it, like if you were to just go to any other restaurant and order like, let's say, this is what I ordered. I ordered steak and scallops. You're like, all right, $35 or whatever. That's not out of the realm.
No.
Except for the fact that it was like. It was like an okay sized piece of steak, but I got like 4 fucking scallops. I'm like, and then everything else they made was like, first of all, this guy was like a total retard. Like the guy that was cooking for us, there was no show.
No show.
I
knew you were going to say that.
No show. But we were split into 2 tables because we were such a big group. The other table, we were like at the kids' table. The other table got a complete show. The people's eyebrows were getting burned off. There was lots of clanging and banging with the spatulas and the knives and the sticks and stuff. And we're just sitting there watching this guy cook. And he was like, every ingredient, he was cooking one at a time and putting on our plates. Instead of like cooking it and giving us a whole meal You know, it
Really?
was
I see that would you know me. Look, you know I've had this happen. I called and told like it that drives me nuts.
like there was like one. It was like in these courses, like one course, it was just
Right.
the zucchini and onions, and I'm like, this should be mixed with like my fucking. You usually have that mixed in with like your chicken and
Right.
steak and whatever. I was like, what is this guy fucking doing? And
Like almost to the point where like you were about to get up and just take the chef hat and say,
oh no, no, no.
"Move over, pal. I got
I was
this."
heckling everything the
Oh,
entire
were you?
time. I was completely heckling everything. Uh, at one point during the thing, I mean, we waited a while for our food also, but like the lady, one of the chicks walks around and she's like, she comes up to us, she goes, for a party this big, we can only split the bill two ways. Is that okay? And
Hmm.
and everyone at our table said no, because she said, "Is that okay?" And then she's like, "Well, we can only split it two ways." I'm like, "Well, then you shouldn't have added "that's okay" to "is that okay" to the end of your sentence." Um, so we got it clarified to mean per table. So even at the table, it's like I know Marco and Natalia, so I guess we could technically have all put it on one card or something and then just paid each
Right.
other
Just
back.
paying
But
back.
the
Right.
other three people at the table, I didn't know. So what do we all exchange?
Yeah.
Imagine you have six table full of complete like people
Yeah.
that don't know each other. Everyone's got to be like Venmoing and PayPaling. Who brings cash? Like how you.
Right. Yeah. Nobody uses
And
cash.
this is like a publicly traded company that's like been doing this for years and years and years, and these momos can't, split a bill four ways or six ways or whatever. You would think
Yeah, I
that's
find that weird
it,
for such a big company.
completely weird, completely weird. And then there was another, and then that same chick, she had some kind of attitude also. She comes like at like 4 minutes to 10 or 5 minutes to 10, and is like, the bar's closed. There's no more drinks. Not like we're closing in 5 minutes. This is last
Right.
call.
Right.
And so we kind of bitch about that. And our to his credit, even though he was a retard when it came to the actual preparation and show
Right.
of our hibachi experience or whatever you want to call it, he immediately goes and gets the manager, be like, "This is ridiculous. They don't even get a last call or whatever." So the funny thing was, he goes and gets the manager, and while he's gone, we're like, "All right, well, we'll complain to the manager, but then as a rib, we won't order any more drinks." So we yell at the guy for like a minute, and he's like, "So what do you guys want? What do you guys want?" I go, "Oh no, we're good."
What did he say?
He just kind of looked at us funny and walked away. He shrugged and walked away.
Yeah.
But it was the point of it. And
Right. Right. Right.
and the funniest thing we did was like early on, we did like a couple of like Ric Flair woos to something.
Right.
And
Well, you better be careful with those, pal.
like one table over, like this there was like this table with like two families, and so one of the dads kind of looks over at us, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, he looked over at us. Now it's over. So I did like a table huddle, and I said, that guy over there gave us kind of the side eye when we did the Ric Flair stuff. I think we need to do the Ric Flair stuff so much for the rest of the evening
Right.
that his kids are doing it in the car ride home, and it's driving him fucking insane.
Nuts. Right.
So we did, because the place is rowdy. Everyone's singing happy birthdays every 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
You
Place
got all
is loud.
all
Yeah.
the places banging and clanging and exploding
Right.
volcanoes and stuff. So
Right.
us doing Ric Flair woos all the time, nobody cared. We did it to every verse of the birthday song whenever someone got the birthday song sang. So we must have wooed like, I don't know, 70 times that night. And
So the guy kept giving you the eye.
no. Like after the third one, he was just like, he just kind of like, he didn't look at us again, but I would notice him do things like kind of put his head in his hand and take a deep sigh. And we did, I'll tell you this, we did get one of the kids to start doing it near the end. And I was like, yes.
I figured maybe this guy watched Dark Side of the Ring and he was like, "This is just this is a bad look, guys. We can't have this at the Benihana."
He's, yeah, he's getting triggered.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He's waiting. He's waiting for one of you to walk out in just the robe and be like, "Woo!"
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So we were like, for having. Listen, I was ready to bitch about the entire meal, and then after like all these tiny little courses of here's your mushrooms and
Right.
here's your onions and whatever, the steak came, and it was like melt in your mouth, like tender and stuff. I'm like, okay, this I can't complain about the whole meal because that steak was fantastic. But I mean, when you get steak and scallops and you get three fucking scallops, you're like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
you know? So whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's just the place is just like ideally for steak and scallops, $35 seems about right these days. But when
Well,
they
but
when
I
they give
feel
you
like,
half a
okay,
portion, it's like
right.
it's like such a clip joint there. And
But,
and
well,
if they're
here's the
saying you're
thing.
paying for the experience, and these guys get a lot of money because they're trained and they're put on a show,
Right.
this guy did no show, and he looked over at the end and saw that he had one onion set aside and realized he hadn't done the onion volcano thing. And
Wait. Hold on.
after
Hold
we
on.
ate,
He didn't do that.
he didn't do it until after we had finished. He was cleaning the the hibachi top off and realized he hadn't done it and went and did it for us. Like after
Oh
the fact.
my God! I would have lost it. I would have lost it.
I mean, he was getting the running commentary from me. I was giving him the business the whole time, but uh,
Holy, he didn't do the volcano till the end. That's a beginner. That's a starter move, not an end move.
amateur hour. It was complete amateur hour.
The guy's using an opening spot as a finish.
So
That's like finishing the guy with like a schoolboy.
right.
Yeah.
So then I thought about maybe I'll just tweet a complaint to Benihana.
Right.
Maybe try and get Weasel a freebie. Uh, but I kind of forgot about it, and I sat down and my phone popped up. And I guess because I had my GPS on, something popped up that said, "How was your experience at Benihana?" So I'm like, "Oh well,
Mhm.
since you've done half the work for me,
Since you asked, yeah.
let me just check a few boxes and fill out this comment section real quick." Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. So there's my Benihana's experience.
Well, but like I think the name is not. I've never been to an actual Benihana because I go to like the local ones. I don't go to
It's the
Benihana.
same
Uh,
shit. It's the same shit. They might just
but
use
I feel like you're
better.
paying a little bit more,
You're paying.
maybe.
You're absolutely paying for the label. You're paying for the
Right.
the brand. I would say that probably they use a better cut of meat than at other
Right, I would
places.
bet too.
But if
Yeah.
you're but if all these other ham bones that were at the table getting like chicken and shrimp and stuff, they weren't benefiting. The shrimp weren't like jumbo
Right.
prawns, and the chicken. Every piece of chicken looked like the state of Michigan. I was like, "What are
Right,
these?
right.
What is this pressed chicken?" I mean,
And let's just, for those who don't know, for our UK listeners, I don't know if they have Benihana. It's
I
a
think
hibachi where the guy does like a little cooking show in front of you, cooking like rice
I
and
think
chicken
I
and
think
steak.
they
And
do.
they do, yeah, probably. Maybe not Benihana, but
I think they do. I think that's
international,
I think it's a big
international ripoff.
yeah. I think that they're
Well,
they're
so I'm
stealing.
glad you answered my first
I
question.
know
First, no Billy, and the food sucked. Which, like, I kind of had a feeling. I did think Billy was actually going to come, but now that you say it, I think Huss maybe dreamed of this. Like he really wanted Billy at his birthday party.
No,
Billy was like he wanted the kid. That's like you invite the cool kid to your birthday party and he doesn't show up.
well,
Like you're not cool enough.
I think that's a lot. Like a lot of times, Billy is one of those guys where
Right.
like you're invited. He goes, okay, I might come.
Right.
Maybe I'll come.
Right.
But
And there's a chance, right? There's
yeah,
a chance he would.
yeah.
Right.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Right. So that was question one. Question two.
Mm-hmm.
Question two.
I know. I assume this one has to do with rice. Go ahead. Ask away.
With what?
Rice.
Uh, How much rice did you eat?
I only had
Go ahead.
I only had a few accidental grains that didn't come off my plate
Oh.
when I gave it to Natalia. Now
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I've been trying to eat good, and then like somewhere when before we left to go to Benihana, I was thinking, it's the only thing I've eaten today. Maybe I'll just have the rice. And then I tried to put pants on to go out.
And you couldn't fit in them.
Well, I fit into one pair. I fit into a pair of jeans. but it was probably like I was probably pulling a Slambino where they could have split at any moment. So I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have the rice. And then the guy put the bowl of rice on my plate. Like they do this weird thing where he scoops the rice into the bowl and then puts the bowl
Right.
upside down onto your plate. So then it's a whole trick for me to even give it to someone else because the bowl's upside down. So I literally had to like pick the plate up with the bowl, flip everything over, and then give her the bowl. I sat there with the rice on my plate for a good, I would say, 7 or 8 minutes staring at it, thinking while everyone's eating. Because again, we're only getting one course at a time. So everyone else is eating their fried rice while I'm sitting there looking at the bowl upside down on my plate, going, "Do I really want this?" And then finally, I just said no. I willpower triumphed overall, and I get.
All right.
I will say that I tried to negotiate something for it, and those negotiations didn't go well. So
Okay.
I just finally just gave it away anyways.
All right. So no race. Now here's my third question.
Okay, go for it.
I received a message from you at some point during the evening
Oh,
that said, "I showed Natalia your TikTok follower number, and she completely no-sold it. She shrugged like I was showing her the bottom of my shoe."
yeah.
I need details on this no-sell of my massive UK following.
So she was asked a couple questions, and then I said, "Oh, by the way, have you seen that Anthony's really blowing up on TikTok?" And she's like, "Yeah, I heard." And I'm like, I'm not hearing a lot of like tone in her voice, like
Right.
it's really flat. Like she's almost like giving me that's crazy after I've given her a long story that I know she didn't listen to. So
Right.
so I pull it up and I go, "Look, he's almost at 200,000." And she's like, she just kind of like looks at it and nods and goes, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Wow." I said, "I'm gonna tell Anthony that you're not impressed by that." And she's like, "No, don't do that, don't do that." So,
Oh, too late now.
so then I had to show her that I had to real time it and show her that I was letting you know that that she had basically spit in your face.
Wow. But you know what? You know what? Did they bring the baby?
No, thank God.
No baby.
No baby.
Okay. All right.
He-
Well, you know what? Look, I wouldn't be impressed with the baby either. So,
Can I?
you know.
Okay, so there's a few things to address there.
Oh, okay.
As far as the baby goes, I did let them know that the baby is no longer welcome in my house when the Dolphins are playing.
Oh, how'd that go?
I told them that your baby is now now that Jackie's dead and can drunk shit talk before the game is over and be the official Miami Dolphins mush. Your child seems to have become the official Dolphins mush. I have not had the Dolphins lose 35-0 when there wasn't a child under my roof. Let's try to not repeat this by never having your child in my house again while the Miami Dolphins are playing. It was received. It was a mixed bag of reception, I would say.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. It was. I'm sure that she leaned over to Marco after and was like, "You're never going there to watch a game again."
Not with the kid, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I let him and his wife know that their child is
Listen.
a complete mush.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming he got the talk when they got home, and she was probably like, "He didn't get us a gift. He doesn't even see the baby.
I saw the baby. They brought it over for the pay-per-view.
He probably hasn't even looked at it. He didn't want the baby there for the pay-per-view. Didn't want the baby there for the Dolphins game. And you know what? She was probably like, "You know what? I'm glad that I made you quit that podcast." That's what she probably said.
Well, now here's the irony of this: is that I know how much of a hibachi freak Marco Prime is.
Right.
I know that like he loves going to Japan Inn, and he lives for this shit. The funny thing is that like when he was here when he came the Sunday that he came over for the game with the kid. The day after, I read him the riot act for basically bailing on the podcast. He mentions to me, I go, "Are you going to Huss's birthday?" He goes, "Yeah, I got a sitter for me and the wife. He got someone to come watch the kid to go eat hibachi at Benihana, but can't like find a way to walk next door to do the podcast once a week. I was just like, making mental notes. Like, all right, I see how it is. Okay, I see where the priorities lay in this fucking world. This
is great. Okay, yeah.
I can hear you smiling over there.
This is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love. Listen, have we not earned the right to bury the guy now that he has bailed on us?
Well, look, I
heard you taking shots, so I figured I could pile on a little bit here in this segment.
Yeah, I mean, he's never allowed to do another podcast again.
Yeah.
There's no way. Yeah. There's no way. Now, okay, so now that we've got that out of the way.
He could be a guest. He can join us.
Right.
That's
right.
But he has to leave the baby
behind Billy and Bobby.
But he has to leave the baby at home.
Right. You actually have a better chance of probably getting the baby on the podcast, quite honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
So now, before I get to,
I love that you've been grilling me for 20 minutes about my trip to Benihana.
I had questions.
Yeah.
I'm not done though. Now we're going to shift to today.
Earl did show up. Billy did not.
Earl showed up. Okay.
But he tried to do his thing. Not this last time, but the 2 times before when he came over for pay-per-view, him and Huss would collude and pretend like he was out of town and that he wasn't available to come. And then there would be this weird knock at the door, and Huss would go, you should probably go get that. I go get it, and it's Earl standing at the door like, oh, you tricked me. Oh, you sons of guns. So he, we're waiting at the bar to be seated for Benihana, and he messages like the group thing and says, sorry, I'm not going to come. I'm watching, and then all in caps, Monday Night Raw, which was half a joke, but I just wrote, I wrote under it, 3, 2, 1, cue Stone Cold glass breaking, and in walks Earl, and like 30 seconds later, Earl walked in the door.
That's funny. They tried to get you. Well, now let's move on to today's questioning. So we're going to see a movie, you say?
Yeah,
is that what you said?
I'm going to a movie.
What are you going to see? I'm going
to see Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings or whatever the legend is.
Don't even know what that is. Never even heard of it.
It's a Marvel movie.
Okay.
It's a Marvel kung fu movie. So
is that the one with Woody Harrelson in it?
No, that's Venom. That's Venom.
Venom. Okay.
Venom 2. Let There Be Carnage.
Okay.
What are we doing? What are we doing? The Nerdcast here? What are we doing?
No. This has nothing to do with Nerdcast or the actual movie. The question is,
you want to know if I'm going to eat popcorn?
What candy and popcorn will you be sneaking in today? I would like to. What will your pockets be filled with?
Can I tell you what the last thing I searched on Google was?
Keto popcorn.
Yeah, how many carbs in popcorn?
Knew it.
Looks like I'm not getting popcorn because I assume a serving size isn't the large bucket that I would normally get. So
you could probably go get stop at Publix and get one of those Smart Pops popcorns and one of the keto ones or something.
Listen, I'm too classy to sneak food into a movie theater. Come on, I'm above that.
Oh, get out of here! Get out of here! You were the guy in the 8th grade sneaking in candy in your pockets.
Everyone in the 8th grade did it because no one in the 8th grade had a fucking job, including Nick the Dick, by the way.
No, right. But I think we may have touched on this before. I don't know, but I used to. I don't watch movies, but sometime in the early 2000s, Eric and I had a friend, Brett. Brett was the manager of the movie theater in Mission Bay Plaza in Boca Raton. He ran the whole movie theater. So Thursday nights, they would preview the movies that were coming out Friday because he'd have to make sure that it worked. So Wednesday or Thursday night. So we would go, and it'd be like me, Eric, Brett would be, making sure it worked, and there'd be a couple other friends in there, maybe, some of the other staff. And we'd get to watch movies the day before they were released to the public. We would go every week because it was free.
Didn't we have this conversation? Didn't I tell you about how we bootleg?
Yeah, I said that. Right. Yeah. I was just refreshing. well, I really wasn't really. The movie means nothing. It was the McDonald's that we would bring into the movie theater, but we became so accustomed that if we did go to a regular movie, we were sneaking double cheeseburgers in our pockets like it was nobody's business. And everybody's out there eating popcorn, and me and Eric are breaking out double cheeseburgers and French fries in a movie theater.
Did you ever get caught?
But no, but everybody would turn around because you could smell. You smell it.
Well,
it
it's
smells
like
good.
It's what's even worse than smelling like McDonald's in a movie theater and it's not your McDonald's. It's smelling McDonald's on a plane ride when it's not your McDonald's.
Oh my god, it does. That pisses me off. Yeah, or the person next. The last plane flight I took was to New York, and it was the person next to me. It was me and Lex, and then there was somebody else because Nick was sitting in front of us, and the lady breaks out tuna, and I'm like, you don't need tuna. No, come on, like that's like a cardinal rule. Like, you don't eat tuna on a fucking plane. Like,
No.
who does that?
No egg salad sandwiches.
No.
No tuna fish, and no Indian food. No chicken
No, you
vindaloo.
don't do that,
Okay,
right.
or some of that Caribbean food's really strong smelling too.
Right.
Which
But it's just
kind of
like-
has its
right.
roots from India, anyways. So yeah.
Right, and it's just like that's a rule on a plane. Just like at work, you don't heat up fish in the microwave at work. Like, that's a cardinal sin.
Or-
You don't do that.
Or burn popcorn in the microwave.
Right, you never do that. You never do that. But yeah. I was just curious to see what you'd be snacking on while in the theater for
Nothing.
2 hours and change.
Nothing. I'm not going to eat anything in the movie. I'm going to.
Yeah.
Here's my
Mhm.
here's my thing for movies. Is it's rare I'll get food when I'm watching a movie. It's even rarer for me to get a drink because I like to watch the movie. I don't want to have to get up in the middle of it and pee. So yeah, that's usually no food or drink when I'm watching a
Right.
movie. I'm there for the
Right.
movie,
Right.
or the
Now,
hand, or the
now-
hand job if I'm
Right.
in the back of the
Yeah.
theater with a
Yeah.
date.
I've been there too.
Yeah.
There'd be times where that we'd be watching the movie, and I'd be like, Brett, I'm sneaking into movie 3 with this this fine lady of mine. He's like, well, there's no movie playing in 3. I was like, yeah, I know, it's okay, we don't need the movie. We just need the theater. But yeah, so okay, now you answered all my questions. I feel good. I'm comfortable with your answers.
You were very from the list of those questions, you were ready to bury me 12 feet deep. Like there was so much there that if I had answered all those the other way, I would be in
Right.
such a hole right now with you. And I'm
Now,
just
here's the thing,
so
though.
happy that I
Right.
not only did I kind of like avoid that, navigate it, but I didn't even think about the podcast or you in that decision making process, which is also good that I'm not living my life in fear. Because
But here's the silver lining of
here
this
we go.
entire thing.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
I came prepared with questions today because I've been thinking about it all fucking day. This may be the only podcast, and how many episodes have you done where I came prepared because these questions were written down. This was deliberately as I planned this out. Like, this is a major deal here. I just want to pat on the Barry Horowitz me. Come on, baby.
I feel like I'm in that room in the police station with in the
light.
chair with the one light overhead, and it's totally dark elsewhere, and I'm strapped into a lie detector, and I'm getting the business from good cop, bad cop.
Right.
Or in this case, fat cop, fat cop.
Fat cop. Yeah. I'm the cop with the cup of coffee and the donut, and I'll spill the coffee on my shirt.
Yeah, you got the stains on the tie, jelly stains
Right,
on the tie.
right. Well, yeah. So that was it for the question. I do have a couple more things.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I want to bring up, of course, more food, is that I saw you retweeted a Waffle House tweet. Was that yesterday or the day before?
Sure.
Yesterday. You retweeted a Waffle House tweet. I don't remember what the tweet was, but
it was something to do with hash browns, and then it's like It's like
You know what?
how do you
I
like
got
your
the
hash
tweet. I
browns?
got the
And
tweet right here. They said life is full of choices, but none are greater than how you take your hash browns. And you wrote scattered, covered, and chunked.
right.
I wrote I had that for breakfast today, and I didn't take a picture. I actually got Waffle House yesterday. They ordered it at the store for inventory, and I asked for the whole smothered, covered, the whole shebang on the hash browns. Well, they got me the All Star breakfast. I got the nice waffle. I got 2 eggs with toast, bacon, and hash browns, and then they handed me the smothered, covered, and whatever hash brown. I ate. I had 2 hash browns now. One was fully loaded, and one was just hash browns. So I mixed them together and made a giant hash brown with them. But I ate that entire thing, and I was like, "Oh, that was so good!" Like 30 minutes later, I had to go sit down at my desk and close my eyes for like 15 minutes because I needed a small nap. I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
done,
yeah,
like done for. It was that, but it hit the spot. It was good, nice.
yeah.
But
It's funny. It's funny you brought up. It's funny that you brought up Waffle House because that was part of the discussion when we were at Benihana. Because we're talking about, oh yeah, we were all like, man, if in our house, we'd love to have like a hibachi uh, grill in our house, and I made the comment that you don't buy a fresh one. You buy. You want to buy like this one here from this Benihana that's had like that has the souls of like 10,000 meals on it and has that flavor like a cast iron skillet does. That the more you cook in it, the better the food tastes when you cook your next thing. Or I said, better yet, you want to find a Waffle House that went out of business and get their grill top because that thing, everything you cook on that's going to taste like a dream. So it was funny you brought Waffle House up because that's
it. But honestly, it was good. It wasn't. It was good.
and so I think Waffle House is always good. It's never about it's never a the food's never in question because all those
Right.
people, all those chefs that cook at the Waffle House, they go through like a boot camp. They go and train to learn how to cook the way you're supposed to cook. There's like a system, a regimented system that you have to follow
Right.
when you cook for Waffle House. So because they want that uniformity. So I'd say 99.
It's very important at the Waffle House.
It is well, no, wherever in the country you go to a Waffle House, in your mind you expect something. So if somewhere
Right.
else you get something else, they don't want that. So yeah, so they anywhere you go in the country, it's going to taste basically the same. 99 times out of 100, it's not the food. 90 times out of 100, if there's a problem at a Waffle House, it's either the clientele or the cleanliness or something. Either you've got like fucking crackheads in there shooting up the place, or you got a la cucaracha situation.
Yeah.
If there's a problem, some are clean, but all those 24-hour joints, it's like you never actually officially shut down to clean the place. So years and
No,
years.
right. You're running. You're
Yeah.
running. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
running.
Every,
Yeah. No, that's true. But it was good. It was good. It was
you,
definitely tasty. The waffle was actually the worst part.
yeah.
It was soggy and thin, but the eggs were good. The toast was fantastic. The bacon nice and crispy. The hash browns, oh yeah, they
I'll,
were. Oof.
I'll let Billy know this is another podcast where two fat guys just talk about food.
We even talked about food in the movie theater. I mean, this is out of control. Like, but yeah. So I've got nothing else but one thing. I know you just saw. I think you saw it. Did you see what Blake just sent on our group chat?
No, because we're podcasting, and all my attention is
Okay.
unlike
So
you. All my attention
it says you
is
saw it.
huh?
It says you saw it.
In terms of like that
Okay.
my phone
Right.
has Messenger open, but I didn't read
All
whatever
right.
he
So
said.
so I'm gonna read it to you. We'll end it on this. So 5 years ago today.
But I
First
mean,
of all, I don't know why does Blake always have these time hops? He keeps like I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happened 5 minutes ago. he keeps everything. Like he always has these time hops he sends us, and he's always like, remember this from 5 years ago, and you're like, no, like what?
And it's something stupid to begin with.
Right, usually. So today,
It's
5
not
years ago
something that
today.
deserves like an anniversary, you know?
Well, this one's actually pretty interesting, to
Yeah.
say the least. 5 years ago today, Jackie sent us all a message. Me, you, Marco, Blake, and Drew at the time. The message said, "You are all my family, but fuck this BS. You think I'm some crazy drunk bastard. Cool. When I'm gone, just remember all I did for you and the love I gave. Good riddance." And then he left the group. That was 5 years ago today.
It's
I don't know why
first
that
of
popped
all,
me so much because
it's
that's not the problem. That wasn't the first time he left the group, and nor was it the last. So
that might have been, but that might have been when he left the group, and then we. No, I don't know.
created the side group.
No, because why would we create the side group if he left the group?
Yeah, we did, right. We created the side group while he was in the group so that we could talk about him,
Right.
how drunk he was in the group.
The side group, I think, is what we're in now. I think.
Right.
I think this is
We went from right. We stayed in the side group.
like the official.
We never went back.
Like the
to
official
original
bread
group.
is the side group.
Right. Because the side group was created to talk about how drunk he was in the real group.
Yeah, like to be like, here he goes again. It's,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's been drinking since Friday night. It's fucking Tuesday afternoon.
Who else got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
that's funny.
5 years ago today, that's funny.
It's so prophetic because not only is it like, I'm like, fuck you guys, you think I'm a drunk, but also when I'm gone, it's like, I mean, listen, it's been enough years that we have to laugh about it. But I mean, like,
oh right.
fucking,
That's what I'm saying. It's just so funny.
The son of a bitch drank himself to death, basically. So
Right.
it's sad, but I mean, we this was a daily thing. This was a lot of ribbing and joking and whatever
Right.
after the fact now. But he, man, that thing's got a lot to unpack. That one fucking message, and the fact that he left the group. Just
Left the group,
but that
which
was
is even better.
That was so Jackie.
That was Jackie.
No, but I mean that part where it was like,
Right.
always,
yeah.
always had to bring up how much he had done for you.
How much he done for us, right?
Because he was,
and it's funny
like,
because
he keeps such a scorekeeper, such a like never.
He was,
and his memory for being such a fucking raging alcoholic, I can't believe how good his memory was. He remembered shit from 20 fucking years ago, and I'm like, I can't even believe that I was there. Like, I don't even remember being there for it. And he's talking in great detail about something, and I'm like, I guess I was there for that. I don't know, I can't. I don't know how he remembered that stuff.
He would call, like when he would call at like 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and at the time I was living in California, so it was like 2 o'clock his time, but it was 3 hours earlier my time, and he would call, and it was always like a scorekeeping. You remember that time that I did this? I got you booked, and I'm like, you didn't get me booked. That's the only reason Howard ever used you, and I'm like, no way Howard used me because of you. Like, don't say that. Like, he would always like say that. Oh, Uncle Howard, and he, he loves me. He only did it because of me. And then I asked Howard recently. We were talking about it, and he's like, Jackie didn't tell me to book you. I was like, that motherfucker.
He planted the doubt in your brain. You knew better, and yet you still had to fucking triple check.
I needed to know. Right.
Yeah, he. That's why it was funny because he would go on these like fucking 3 or 4 day drinking sprees where he barely slept and he was just online all the time. Like that's where he created all these random like friendships with people. Like all these wrestlers that he would just like, he was basically just roaming. He was just looking to see who was online, and he would just pop up and start talking to people. And he would just like, all of a sudden he's like friends with these random people, and that they're commenting on his stuff and they're taking his side and things. And I'm like, who the fuck even, how do you even know Jackie? And it's like, they're like, it's like for 3 months in a row, he kept hitting me up and talking to me in the middle of the fucking night. I mean, him and Paul Jones became like best buddies. It's like they never hung
Right.
out. They never hung out, but
No.
the two of them used to both get shit faced and just like kind of like complain and have each other's backs in the middle of the night while no one else was fucking awake. It's just insane. So funny. So fucking funny.
Yeah, typical Jackie. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got today. Any wrestling news? We got a big day tomorrow. Big day.
I mean, I watched a little bit of Raw last night after I got home. I there's not much to report there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really. We talked about it on the thread. Blake mentioned it. It's like everyone's excited to watch AEW. It's a day away, and everyone's like already talking about being excited for it. We're in our group. We're like, oh, I can't wait. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a mega card tomorrow, and Fridays is taped, so I don't think they're doing any of the other than having some banger matches. I don't think they're doing any
Right.
nothing that's like a title
Nothing
change or a
crazy.
surprise because
Right.
it'll be spoiled. But yeah,
Right.
I think one thing that's interesting is the news that came out yesterday. They announcing that they're working with Martha Hart to do Owen Hart stuff.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
It says a lot about the company that they've.
Mm.
It was a tweet that I retweeted that they've convinced Punk to come out of retirement and
Yeah. I saw that.
Martha Hart to trust a wrestling promotion again.
Right. And what they're doing for Owen Hart is, I mean, the Owen Hart Cup, the what is it called? The Owen,
It's called the Owen. Yeah.
the toys, the video game,
Yeah.
the merchandise. I mean, and it's all the money's going to the foundation.
Yeah.
To
That's the thing. It's like I saw a couple people doing some tweets that were like saying she's the money's run out or whatever, and I'm like, no, Owen saved every dollar, and like
Right.
isn't his son a lawyer? And
yeah, and it clearly says the money's going to the
Right.
foundation. It's
This
not going to them.
what happened, I think, is that she trusted the guys to do the Dark Side of the Ring episode to get this like their side of the
Right,
story
right.
told,
Right.
and just talk about Owen and that
Yep.
that in conjunction with that they did some pro wrestling tees stuff.
Yeah.
And that money was going to go towards the foundation, and I think they had such a huge response to it that they were like, well, what, and so that when Tony Khan approached them to do something that, they'd already had a good experience and knew that this would be good for the foundation and it would roll a lot of dollars in for the charity. I'm just curious.
Which is fantastic.
I'm just curious how this was brokered because I don't think Tony Khan had a relationship with anyone, but I know Mark Henry was close with Owen and even had remember during his
Yeah.
Hall of Fame speech,
Yeah.
he directly
Yeah.
addressed Martha to consider letting Owen be put in the Hall of Fame. I know Jericho's close to the
Yeah.
family and I think was helpful in getting the documentary made. So, very interesting. I think, she may have also seen a couple of those things
Right.
before, like the way they treated Brody Lee, and
Yeah,
and
right.
the respect they treated him in life and death, that may have gone a long way to swaying her decision.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, I
you're
agree. I think it was.
gonna get to play
Yeah.
Owen Hart in a video game, and you're gonna have toys and all the things that you never thought you were gonna get because there was
Right.
no way she was signing any papers with the WWE. And as much
No, that would have never happened.
as WWE thought at some point they would mend that bridge, this is different than like mending the bridge with Bruno Sammartino or making
Right.
making peace with Bret Hart or one of those types of guys. The world's a difference. You killed her husband, and her children's father. I don't think there was a road back from that where she wouldn't get the business from the wrestling world, that you sold out your husband's legacy for $1. So there was no way she was going to deal with them, and she
Right.
really didn't want him in their Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
So
No, this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. But now we'll see tomorrow night. Big night in wrestling, and we'll see what happens.
I
I think
can't.
it's huge. It's such a
I
huge night. I wish I was there.
I can't wait to see that venue.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
because it's like what is it's like a tennis venue, right?
It is, yeah. Arthur Ashe Stadium. But it's indoor. It's one of those I think retractable dome things.
Right.
Uh, so it's covered, but yeah,
Right. Well, I mean, there's ways around that. You could have like covered the ring or something.
yeah,
I'm just curious what that venue looks like, what it looks like with wrestling in it, what AEW looks like with a giant fucking crowd like that. It's gonna be interesting. And if that energy that you have
right,
with these more intimate venues that they do is going to be as big. If it's going to rock, if the roof metaphorically is going to blow off the place like it usually does or not.
right,
So
right.
yeah, it's very exciting.
Well, we'll see. Yep, but that's all I got, man. That's all I can give you today because I'm gonna heat up some mac and cheese here.
I
I'm
was
gonna
just
eat.
going to ask what your big fat boy plans were for the rest of the day.
I'm about to have some mac and cheese, and then I'm going to probably go a little TikTok live here. Do some of that. I've got a big podcast to record tomorrow in the UK. 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I got a little podcast. It's a Zoom podcast, so I'll have to wear my Breakfast Club shirt so I can put it over and sell
There you
it.
go.
Yeah.
You know what
So the UK.
you know what
I'm making the rounds. I'm pretty much like Hasselhoff now. So they're calling me from the UK to do podcasts.
I mean,
So,
depends who you ask. Natalia doesn't think you're shit, so.
well, apparently, right? Yeah.
uh, you know what I didn't hear on your itinerary?
What's that?
Any exercising at all?
Oh, yeah. No. We start next week. Next week.
What are you doing, man? It's the 7th. It's dude, you are running out of time. It's September 21st. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You've got like
No. What
you've
do
got
you
like
mean?
6 weeks. What are you going to do? You're no showing this thing. I think the kids are right. I think Billy's
You're out of your mind.
the Fives kids are right. They're gonna fucking make a mint on that bet when you don't show up. The problem is, you better let me know you're not showing up so that I'm not there.
Why would I no show? What world do you live in?
Because you're gonna show up looking like me instead of like a pro wrestler.
Mm, mm. I don't know. I think you're wrong.
I'm gonna get winded walking from the car to the movie theater today.
You're wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't hear you doing anything to prove me wrong, so I am now greatly looking forward to this. Like, I am excited to see the carnage that ensues, because not only is he was going to kill you anyways, but now it's going to have that extra like oomph of frustration with you that he's going to put behind every punch and kick.
You warned me not to show up bad, so I'll be good.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You better start sending messages to your fairy godmother to bring the extra heavy duty wand to wave over you, because you're
You're being ridiculous. We're good. We're good. Don't get him egged up. No, we're good.
I don't know I don't know what world you're living in. I really don't. I'm starting to now really worry because this sounds delusional. This sounds like you are in complete denial.
Yeah. I'm gonna eat this mac and cheese now. We can end this podcast.
You're in so much trouble. All right, bye.
Goodbye.